Washington, D.C. It is great to be back in our nation's perfect capital. It's great to be back at the Lincoln Theater. My old stomping grounds. But first, let's get into it. What a week. The New York Police Department arrested more than 100 pro-Palestinian student protesters at Columbia who refused to leave an encampment on Columbia's lawn in violation of the university's rules. Columbia's precious rules are very clear. 1, no tents on the lawn. 2, no mentioning that you went to Columbia because you got rejected from Harvard. Those are the only 2 rules you're not allowed to break. I can't believe this shit, said a bunch of cops who had to stop playing Candy Crush on the subway for an hour. But if you can believe this shit, it seems, get this, arresting the protesters has backfired. They've rebuilt the encampment and the protest has spread to campuses across the country. It's hard to blame administrators for not knowing how to handle this. They're dealing with a completely new phenomenon, an anti-war protest on a college campus. What's next? Some sort of ostensibly straight a cappella group? Police arrested about 45 protesters at Yale on Monday, and there were other arrests at colleges across the country. You know, it's got to kill those Yale kids to know they didn't have the most number of arrests. You know, somebody's got an eye on the Harvard encampment. Encampments have also sprung up at MIT, Emerson, UC Berkeley, and the University of Michigan. When the MIT kids get involved, you know it's over. Those tents have running water. and a particle accelerator. You might be asking yourself, why would you need a tent with a dumbwaiter? For peace, that's why. Hundreds of Columbia faculty members held a walkout on Monday to protest the school's decision to have the students arrested. I feel so alive, said a professor of anthropology in a throuple that isn't working. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a foot taller because he passed a bill, visited Columbia on Wednesday to denounce the protests and to do what any legislative official from Louisiana should be doing, making personnel recommendations for Northeastern private universities. Said Johnson on Hugh Hewitt's radio show.
It's unconscionable. This President Shafiq is shown to be a very weak and inept leader. They cannot even guarantee the safety of Jewish students.
Yes, it's the #1 Jew defender. A right-wing evangelist overseeing a caucus that spreads anti-Semitic conspiracies and attends white nationalist conferences, and who seems like he'd call scallion cream cheese too spicy. Johnson also said he had a simple message for student protesters. Go back to class and stop the nonsense. Stop wasting your parents' money. What do you think happens at Columbia when they're in class? A lot of these kids are English majors. Class is where they waste the money. Speaking of Speaker Johnson, according to a new profile in The Atlantic, his sons nearly drowned in the ocean shortly after Johnson met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago last fall. That's both of his sons, the one who monitors his porn consumption and the one who feels left out. Must be a weird feeling. Johnson said that he and Trump spoke about the incident by phone, saying, "We talked about the faith aspect, that God spared the lives of my sons. That's how I understand those events, and we talk about that." And Trump said, God saved your sons' lives. I would bet so much fucking money that as Trump told Mike Johnson on the phone that God saved his sons' lives, he was 100% doing a jerk-off motion to a caddy that is also his chief of staff. No, totally, Mike. God saved him, 100%. It's sad when kids die because they can't campaign for you anymore, right? Anyway, gotta run. My wife's here for a check. Trump, just snowing this guy. God saved him. Okay. Anyway. President Biden on Wednesday signed the $95.8 billion bipartisan aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, a trio otherwise known in U.S. foreign policy as America's problematic faves. The bill included a provision that could ban TikTok in the United States if the parent company ByteDance fails to sell it to an American company within a year. You might have only 1 year left to diagnose yourself with ADHD, and if that doesn't seem like enough time, you're already on your way. A TikTok spokesperson said in a Wednesday statement that this unconstitutional law is a ban and we will challenge it in court. Added the spokesperson, "We feel confident about our chances based on the extensive data we've collected on government lawyers. You wouldn't believe how late Merrick Garland stays up watching local news bloopers." Speaking of bloopers, on Tuesday, Judge Juan Merchan held a hearing on whether to hold Donald Trump in contempt for violating his gag order in the hush money case. Meanwhile, Trump held what he called a Judge Fat Bitch hearing outside in the parking lot. And, well, Merchan is not going to like Trump's ruling. At one point, it turned. Stop it. The ruling is that the judge is a fat bitch. When Blanche said that Trump was trying to comply with the gag order and being very careful, Merchan replied, "You're losing credibility with this court." Your Honor, it's one thing to insult me. It's another to invent a word like credibility to do so. A prosecutor argued that Trump had been willfully and repeatedly violating the order and had even made statements that violated it in the hallway right as he left court. But who isn't cranky when they first wake up? It's relatable, actually. Said the prosecutor, he knows what he's not allowed to do and does it anyhow. Also true of me when I bring in a burrito bowl to the movies. No one could hold me in contempt. Actual testimony began this week with the first witness, Trump's former ally and publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, which people make fun of, but was changed at Ellis Island to anglicize it from the Yiddish, schlong. Stupid. It's so stupid. Stop it. He described how he bought and paid for damaging stories about Trump during his 2016 campaign. Pecker said that he acted as the campaign's eyes and ears. I called all the other orifices, said Rudy Giuliani. I don't know what that means. Utah Senator Mitt Romney offered this take on the hush money trial on Tuesday.
I think everybody has made their own assessment of President Trump's character, and so far as I know, you don't pay someone $130,000 not to have sex with you.
Nice, man. Put some chocolate syrup in that milk. You've earned it. Give yourself a little treat. Go crazy. Then on Thursday, the Supreme Court heard arguments on Donald Trump's presidential immunity case, in which the former president argues conducting a coup isn't a crime so long as you pay for it on your work credit card. Naturally, much of SCOTUS's hearing revolves around what could constitute an official act, like, for example, a president murdering his enemies. Asked Judge Sonia Sotomayor.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could.
Is he wearing his Air Force One jacket when he orders the extrajudicial killing? Is he snacking on a box of White House M&Ms? Then he's in the clear, Your Honor. Justice Elena Kagan and Amy Coney Barrett seem shocked by the defense's argument that a president orchestrating a coup or assassinating rivals should be protected from prosecution. And these ladies don't shock easily. They've had to sit through multiple slideshow presentations of Alito's vacation pics, and he's toppling off a boogie board in 1920s neck-to-toe bathing suits in every single picture. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson noted this problem with Trump's argument.
The most powerful person in the world with the greatest amount of authority could go into office knowing that there would be no potential penalty for committing crimes. I'm trying to understand what the disincentive is from turning the Oval Office into the seat of criminal activity in this country.
Now you're getting it, said Rudy Giuliani, barreling down the aisle on a tricycle for some reason. Meanwhile, Justice Alito asked this of the government's lawyer.
If a president has the authority to pardon himself before leaving office, and the D.C. Circuit is right that there is no immunity from prosecution, won't the predictable result be that presidents on the last couple of days of office are going to pardon themselves from anything?
Yeah, great point, you fucking dweeb. Also this week, the Supreme Court heard arguments over whether Idaho's near-total abortion ban conflicts with a federal law which requires patients to receive appropriate medical care. The Idaho law says that anyone who performs an abortion could face up to 5 years in prison unless the woman's life is in danger. In that case, it's 10 years in prison. In one exchange, Justice Sotomayor pressed Idaho's lawyer on how much flexibility the state law gives doctors for performing emergency abortions, and right-wing Justice Amy Coney Barrett claimed to be shocked at the answer.
When Idaho law changed to make the issue whether she's going to die or not, or whether she's going to have a serious medical condition, there's a big daylight by your standards, correct?
It is very case by case. The examples
That's the problem.
I'm kind of shocked, actually, because I thought your own expert had said below that these kinds of cases were covered. And you're now saying they're not?
No, I'm not saying that. That's just my point, Your Honor, is that...
Well, you're hedging.
Oh, are you shocked? Are you shocked? You overturned a cartoon barrel of motor oil all over the highway. Yeah, cars are running off the road. Unbelievable. Shocked. Gambling in this casino. What do you think was going to happen? The trigger laws were on the books. They were all on the books. You're shocked? I don't think you should be shocked. Meanwhile, in Arizona, Democrats managed to advance a bill to repeal the state's 1864 abortion ban on Wednesday, with 3 Republicans in the state house breaking rank to vote with Democrats on their 3rd attempt. Congratulations to those 3 Republicans who either consulted their consciences or happened to read one poll. Speaking of switching teams, the FTC voted this week to ban nearly all employers from issuing non-compete clauses which prevent workers from joining rival companies or launch their own rival businesses. And I'd like to see you try it, Kendra. Oh God, Kendra will leave it as a hit. I'm ruined. I'm kidding. Nobody ever leaves this show. Non-compete clauses have been replaced with, I'd like to see you try it. The White House also issued a new rule this week that requires airlines to promptly issue passengers refunds for canceled or significantly delayed flights instead of vouchers for future flights. Hey, it's a great day for people who had a canceled trip and a non-compete clause, you know? Fucking crushing it this week. Better go knock on some doors for Biden. Said Biden in a statement, and this goes for you too, Spirit Airlines. I know you're trying, but if you're gonna mail people physical cash, it's gotta be new bills. The #1 complaint this month to the FTC, other than trapped in Cybertruck going 200 miles an hour, doors locked, screens black, is dirty, smelly 5s and 10s from Spirit Airlines. It's strange. Doors locked. Screen's black. Speaking of stink, in the American Lung Association's latest edition of their annual State of the Air assessment, the group said that roughly 2 out of 5 Americans are breathing unhealthy air. And it's even worse for Americans who are serving on the juries for crimes involving hush money payments. Because of the farts. It's because of all the fucking farts. And a small update on the cicadas. A horde of cicadas emerging in one South Carolina county are so loud that residents have been calling the police, said Columbia University's president. Were the police able to help? a beloved ostrich. So we're in the animal news portion. A beloved ostrich named Karen at the Topeka Zoo has passed away. Yeah, I'm sorry. After swallowing a staff member's keys. It was the only thing she could do to stop that zookeeper from driving home drunk again. R.I.P. Karen, the ostrich. She died doing what she loved, eating keys. And finally, at least 5 British military horses broke loose in London on Wednesday, charging through the streets near Buckingham Palace and injuring at least 5 people. But not to worry, the royal family quickly got to work photoshopping the horses back into their stables.
Love it or leave it.